What up, YouTube Alayaks? Come back at you with another custom StarCraft 2 cast. Today we have an SC Evo Complete match for you. If you're a returning viewer to my channel, you are likely well aware of this mod. If you're a new viewer to my channel, firstly, welcome to my humble little corner of the internet. Secondly, this mod puts together Brood War and StarCraft 2 into one game. It's super sick. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's our purple StarCraft 2 Protoss player wahpinas going up against his opponent. Spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our blue Brood War Zerg player Grim. So today it's going to be Brood War Zerg versus StarCraft 2 toss. This is going to be a super sick matchup. I can already tell. We have 6 Zerglings running across to the Protoss side of the map. Let's take a look at the wall for Protoss. There is no wall. Oh man, we do have one Zealot at the choke point. We have another Zealot that would complete this wall, but it's going to finish way too late, and these Zerglings are absolutely going to be able to enter the purple Protoss base. This Zealot goes down, this probe trying to be a hero and goes down immediately. The Zerglings briefly aggroing on that single pylon, but Grim deciding to go for the economy of his opponent. I do agree with that. I mean, I could understand why you would get tunnel vision on that lone pylon, because if you destroy that pylon, that depowers everything Protoss has, and I feel like at this point in the game, you would effectively win, but that Zealot came out of that gateway just a little too fast, so I agree with Grim's idea of going for the probes. Taking a look at the workers killed, 3 workers killed. That's not the end of the world, all things considered, for wahpinas. Meanwhile, we do have the Adept running across to the Zerg side of the map for vengeance. I was going to say you could throw down a Shade that would get that Adept there a little bit faster. Do we have another Adept? Okay, so we have 2 Adepts running to the Zerg side of the map. Let's take a look at the units. What do we have for defense? We have literally nothing. We have 3 Overlords and 23 drones. So this could be disastrous for Grim. Immediately we have what are going to be 4 Zerglings in production. wahpinas, move this thing to the mineral line, man. Adepts are not designed to destroy hatcheries. Here we go. We have 1, now 2 drones going down. We have a 3rd Adept as well. This is super interesting. If you guys watch Hearthstone, you know that he has an Adept opener that he likes to play against Zerg, and seeing this against, like, Brood War Zerg is really interesting to me. I think that was a little bit of a preemptive shade, I think, given... How many Zerglings do we have, actually? Okay, we have 11 Zerglings versus 3 Adepts. I feel like that would be close, but I feel like with good control, wahpinas could keep these Adepts alive and do some more damage. Taking a look at the workers killed, 3 workers killed for both players, actually. So not bad at all. We have more Zerglings now running to the expansion. No cancel on this pylon. Oh no, I would cancel that though. Okay, yep. The expansion does get canceled. There's simply not enough to defend. We do have Warp Gate already finished. We have a couple Zealots at the wall. Let's take a look at what else we have. So we have the Twilight Council. We have a Forge that just finished. We also have these Adepts that do get surrounded. I think one of them does survive. Oh, man. Take a look at the resources lost. 456 resources lost by blue. 700 resources lost, excuse me, by purple. I almost choked on my own words, man. Oh, no. That poor Adept on move command does go down as well. There were just too many Zerglings for those Adepts to handle. Meanwhile, we have the attempt at the expansion. Once again, this is a little bit of a late expansion, especially against Zerg. To be fair, what is meta when you're going up against, like, the old version of a race, right? StarCraft 2 versus Brood War Zerg. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Meanwhile, Grim is expanding like a madman. So we're going to have, how many bases is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus technically 1 base right now for wahpinas. Hopefully this Nexus does manage to finish. I think this is enough Zealots and 1 Adept. And okay, we have the Stalkers as well. This is definitely enough for wahpinas to defend with. Oh, man. Oh, I really appreciate the attempt at the wall off with that warp in. But unfortunately, the 1 Stalker is just a little too small. We have a lot of probes going down, I feel like. Taking a look at the workers killed. Total workers killed by blue is now 9. Luckily, though, this is what's most important. This Nexus will survive. It will finish, considering the fact that we're seeing what is going to be a 5-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss. That is not necessarily ideal. I would almost feel like double expanding, but taking a look at the resources for wahpinas, he's way over mining on the gas right now. We have 900 gas versus 100 minerals, so he doesn't have a lot of minerals to spend with that gas, and I think that's because he is delayed on this expansion. Luckily, though, he's able to start saturating base number 2. Meanwhile, base number 4/5, this was a double expansion, is in danger. Let's take a look at the units. Oh, we also have okay, we have mutas on the way. Oh, man. Okay. Looks like base number 5 will go down, and here it is. Where is it? Yep, there it is. The Spire right behind the main mineral line for our blue Brood War Zerg player. We're going to have StarCraft 1 mutas on the field momentarily. What else do we have? Oh, okay, we have a... Oh, wow, we have a lot of tech coming down, actually. We have a Hydralisk Den. We have a Queen's Nest as well. I'm trying to decide what our blue Zerg player is going to do with all this tech. Like, what are you going to build first? I feel like he's going to build... No, he's going to go for the... he's going to go for lurkers. Okay, so he's researching lurkers. And we have 6 mutas on the way. Okay. So Grim is just going for all the tech options. Meanwhile, we still have just 2 bases for our purple Zerg... Or, sorry, purple Zerg player. Our purple Protoss player. Oh, man. The StarCraft music's really ramping up right now. We do have some decent movement from wahpinas, though. We have Blink Stalkers also done. And these Stalkers are actually doing a ton of damage with the Zealot support as well. Man, I feel like StarCraft 1 Mutalisks are just so tanky, though. Oh, dude, the music. I hope you guys can hear it. I'm vibing so hard right now. I'm vibing so aggressively hard on this music. S-tier music. StarCraft 1 music was just something else entirely. StarCraft 2 music also. Oh, man. I feel like with how that engagement was going for our purple Protoss player, I feel like wahpinas could have been a little more aggressive and maybe taken out like a macro hatchery or something. Meanwhile, though, we have a few mutas. I don't even want to count them. How many is that? Okay, that's going to be 7 mutas. A few probes do go down. Luckily, though, wahpinas does have blink. I would maybe get a shield battery as well and put them, you know, in the mineral lines or behind the mineral lines. Great blink as well. Unfortunately, though, 3 stalkers versus 7 mutas is not going to be necessarily ideal. There we go. We have the blink of the rest of the stalkers. Taking a look at the workers killed now. 14 workers total killed this game by our blue Zerg player. Considering the fact that wahpinas is still on 2 bases, how many workers does he have, actually? Wait a minute. He has 29 workers compared to 84 workers for our Brood War Zerg player. That's actually insane. But he's still in the game, man. Ground weapons level 1 has completed. Let's take a look at the upgrades, actually. Okay, so we only have +1 attack upgrades for our Protoss player. We have +1 ground upgrades coming up for our Zerg player as well as +1 air attack upgrades. Oh, right. Oh, man, here we go. This is going to be a big move out of Zerg. This is terrifying. The slow-moving single supply Hydralisks. I love this. Oh, wow. We have what is potentially going to be an accidental flank. Nope. It looks like maybe a base race, but taking a look at the army supply, it's an over double army supply for our Zerg player. So it's looking really good for Grim right now. And here we go. We have the attack on base number 2. It's been base number 2 this whole game. wahpinas. Oh, no. A big recall, though. I like that. Unfortunately, not able to save that Nexus, and running into those lurkers as well was not ideal. At this point in the game, I feel like Grim could just run into the main base and win. I understand he doesn't want to be too greedy with his army, though. So maybe he's going to try and move those lurkers up to, like, I don't know, the choke point of the natural base location. Taking a look, he also has another expansion coming up. That is hilarious. I like this, though. We do have The Observer able to spot a couple of those lurkers and takes them out. We have more lurkers on the way. Wait, how many lurkers is that? Oh, wait a minute. We have 10 more lurkers morphing in. This is insane. This is actually insane. We have the expansion being replaced. We also have another probe right... Oh, wait a minute. We have a probe right here that's getting ready to expand, but we have Grim coming in with the expansion. He's expanding everywhere. Look at this. We have the whole top side of the map, and we have the bottom left-hand side of the map, and the only reason this this hatchery did not go down is because we have one probe here. Oh, wow. That was actually a great blink away from the lurkers, taking out, I think that was at least 2 or 3 lurkers with those stalkers and blinking away before they could get a lot of damage in. Unfortunately, though, I mean, wahpinas is now long-distance mining just a little bit. He's almost mined out from his main base. The natural base location is also not looking so great. And we have so many expansions. What I would do is maybe attack this drone and just pray. But at this point, I think this is really in the bag for our Zerg player. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. All right, we jumped a little bit ahead in this game because it was basically a stalemate for like 4 minutes. But we do have the Guardians. We do have the Phoenixes. And now it looks like base number 2 once again is in jeopardy for our purple Protoss player. These Guardians, though, they only shoot down, and now there's nothing here that shoots up. So these Phoenixes might actually be able to take out some of these Guardians, but how many Guardians is this, though? 25 of them, along with the lurkers running into the main base. wahpinas saying, "Ah, man, I saw it coming as well. GG's, nice contain, great sportsmanship. I love it." Grim ultimately winning the game, but I feel like that was a little bit of a short one, so stay tuned. We have one more SC Evo Complete game for you, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome to game number 2. It's the same players, but with a slight variation, so let's go ahead and reintroduce them. Spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's our purple, now Brood War Zerg player wahpinas with the Cameo Overlord. I love that. Going up against his opponent, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our blue Brood War Zerg player Grim. So now it's going to be, instead of StarCraft 2 versus Brood War, it's going to be Brood War versus Brood War, but with the StarCraft 2 engine. Should be a really interesting one. We have the assimilator serving as some gas harassment from wahpinas. Will ultimately get destroyed by our Zerg player. Not the end of the world for Zerg. Zerg doesn't necessarily need a lot of gas, or at least not their main base gas, because they expand so quickly that if you really wanted the gas, you could just go for, you know, the gas in the natural base. Meanwhile, though, we have leg enhancements already finished for wahpinas. So wahpinas is going for a little bit of early aggression with these Zealots. The Zealots are basically speed links. It's hilarious. So keep in mind the Brood War Zealot leg upgrade just increases their speed. They don't have charge. They literally just move faster, and I think attack faster as well. But all these sunken colonies will finish. This is an airtight wall. These Zerglings can't get out, but it doesn't matter. wahpinas, realizing that that's way too much defense, will escape with a few Zealots left, and a few Zealots also joining the party. Oh, man, I like this, though. Moving to base number 3, realizing that base number 2 is way too well defended with that wall. But once these sunken colonies finish, that will be it for the harassment. These Zealots are actually insane, though, destroying so much of the Zerg stuff. That's actually crazy that they didn't go down as quickly as they did. Wait a minute, let me see something. Okay, so resources lost 587 as opposed to 775 for purple. So that's still a deficit for our purple Protoss player, but really, that's not too bad. We also have, I believe, a range for the Dragoons being researched. We have +1 attack as well. wahpinas saying, eh. Oh, man, I love how these guys interact with each other. You can tell that they're good friends. Grim saying creep colonies are strong. Yeah, once you morph the creep colony into static defense, the sunken colonies, man, they're just so good, I feel like. I mean, that was just a really solid wall. That was a really good response to what wahpinas was doing, which was kind of early Zealot harassment. Going for the immediate wall is exactly what you want to do. We have slow Zerglings here getting the surround on all these Zealots. The DPS from the sunken colonies and those Zerglings will easily clean them up. We have now the first Hydras coming out from our blue Zerg player as well. Taking a look at what the Protoss has. We have the shield battery. We have Dragoons now. What else do we have coming out from this player? So it's just Zealots and Dragoons for the time being. I would love to see more worker production, and I would love to see a third base coming down, maybe even a fourth base for the Protoss player. But, you know, 3 base versus, you know, 3 base, especially 3 base Zerg. Really, that's not so bad. But this is a lot of Zerglings running across the map. We don't have Zergling speed. We also don't have Zergling speed being researched, which is interesting. Ground weapons level 1 will be finishing up shortly for the Protoss player. Oh, man. We have Lurker research on the way as well. These, oh, man. Oh, this is kind of unfortunate. I was going to say, these Protoss units will be sneakily walking across the map, but they do get spotted by the Overlord, and now we have the engagement from our blue Zerg player. All these slow-moving Zerg units getting the surround on the Protoss unit. Singularity charge is now finished as well. That will increase the Dragoon range. I believe it was by 2, but I could be wrong. Oh, man. I feel like we need to see one more expansion, maybe a tech switch as well. Okay, here we go. I wasn't even looking at the production tab. We have Stargates on the way. I like that. We'll see what our purple Protoss player will build from those Stargates. I would love to see like Brood War carriers. That would be kind of sick. We have base number 4 that is finishing up for our Zerg player as well. Storm is being researched also. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna have Archons and Templars coming out from these gateways relatively soon, I think. I mean, if you want to build Templar and you also want to support a Stargate, you need a third base, because you're going to want a lot more gas than 2 bases can mine for you. We have a robotics facility as well. Okay, so opening up some of his tech options. We have decent static defense in the natural base location. Meanwhile, Grim was checking for base number 3. But this is a pretty good position for wahpinas for defending at the very least. +2 attack on the way as well. We have Corsairs. Okay. So Corsairs coming out from these, or at least the one Stargate. Wonder if that will be used for harassment. Meanwhile, what are these? We have more macro hatcheries on the way. Is that 3 of them? 3 macro hatcheries. That's crazy. That is crazy, dog. But right now, both players kind of biding their time. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I do cast custom StarCraft 2 all the time. So if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, we have a couple Corsairs flying across the map. We'll see what damage they can do. Oh, man. wahpinas, you gotta throw down a third base at this point. It will help the economy so much. But this is looking like a really strong army, to be fair, for the purple Protoss player compared to what are going to be Zerglings and Hydralisks. Okay, Lurker aspect is finished, so now we will have Lurkers potentially on the field. Meanwhile, these Corsairs destroying all these Overlords, and look at them fly away so slowly. All of them are damaged. Unfortunately, this one is not part of the party anymore. The Zerglings running to the back of the main base. Likely the entire army was selected. Oh, what are these? Oh, I love this. We have the Scourge, which will be destroying these Corsairs easily. Basically flying Banelings. And back with the S tier StarCraft 1 music. So sick. Looks like +2 is done for the Zerg ground army. No Lurkers yet, but Lurk aspect is finished. Burrow is also being researched, and now we have what is going to be kind of a chilling game. Both players kind of macroing up. We finally have base number 3 being thrown down for our purple Brood War Protoss player. You can't see it, but I'm head bobbing right now. This music is so sick. And we have Mutas. Oh, this is looking like a really scary army. This is looking like a terrifying army. The choke point is being cleared up by our purple Protoss player. I keep almost calling him Zerg. I don't know why. These Dragoons are looking really nice, though. They're looking really strong. Like I said, no lurkers yet, but we do have the mutas that are flying a little bit too far ahead. We'll get the snipe on one of those Templar. That's not bad. Storm does get thrown down, and these mutas are clumped up, though. Decent unit control from our blue Zerg player, Grim. Meanwhile, Grim is running around with all these Zerg ground units. The Zerglings look like literal cockroaches. Oh, and we have the mutas transforming into the Guardians right on the outskirts of the natural base for the Protoss player. At the same time, we have what is going to be a potential attack at base number 3, but this is looking like a really, really solid position for defending for our Protoss player. The Guardians are almost finished. We'll see if they move out immediately. I would love to see them move out. Engagement in the middle of the map. Grim realizing that maybe this is a little bit too strong of an army to engage with directly, especially so close to the natural base and the third base for the Protoss player. The natural base, at the very least, is being attacked by Grim with these Guardians. I don't know if wahpinas realizes that, or if he's, you know, oh wow, okay. Those are some really solid storms that actually took out so much of the Zerg army. So you had bigger things to worry about than those Guardians, is what I was going to say. We have Zerglings running into the main base. I think that's 3 or 4 of them that do get through. Meanwhile, these probes on hold position, that is actually really solid, keeping these Hydras away from the main base. But unfortunately, these Zerglings able to take out what were 15 probes. That is insane. 16 workers total killed this game. These Guardians moving very slowly, but it's looking a little sketchy for wahpinas. All things considered, a pretty good defense. And those storms were really solid, taking out so much of the Zerg army. Taking a look at the army supply. It's actually in favor for wahpinas. 81 army supply to 70 for our Zerg player. Now it's 81 to 81. We had a big hatch of Zerg units. But this is a really good-looking army for our Protoss player. I'd love to see how this game plays out, especially because these are all Zerglings. A few good storms would take these things out. We do have storm available. So many of the Zerglings going down, but the Zerglings ultimately getting a good spread on this Protoss army as well. Meanwhile, the Zerg Guardians in the back of the main base doing so much damage to the macro, I feel like, for our Protoss player. wahpinas throwing out the well played, giving the victory to Grim. What a sick game number 2. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.